If you're late, you get to the mess as soon as possible, grab your food, run to the class.
The classes start sometimes at 8:30 or 9:30 and they last till 4:30 or 5:30.
Life at Bennett for me is pretty hectic, but because I enjoy everything I do, it's fun most of the time.
We get free by 5:30. We're done for the day by 5:30, and after that it's our time.
So the mess is basically the hub of Bennett University. Every student after the classes, before the classes, evening time, be it day, be it morning, be it dinner time, you're going to find majority of the students sitting inside the mess, basically hanging out with their friends.
We keep on having events and competitions every week, so these things never let, life at Bennett get boring.
When I'm just free, so I can go up to the music room to jam up with someone.
In the last 8 months, for which I've lived in the hostel, I've changed completely. It's like I've become independent, I do my stuff on my own. Basically, I don't have mom around, so everything falls onto me.
It really helps me build myself into the person I want to be.
We have a football ground, we have lawn tennis courts, we have basketball courts, we have badminton courts, we have a swimming pool, we have an entire gym, and I try to utilize the max out of it. This is me, and this is my university, Bennett University.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Wednesday evening edition of Webinar with the Students or Student Diaries organized by Bennett University, where we discuss about a particular undergraduate program. We talk about the curriculum, pedagogy, infrastructure, internship and placement opportunities. We also discuss about the hostel facilities, campus life, and many more. My name is Anirban Das, and I'm a part of the admissions, marketing, and outreach team at Bennett. And today we'll be discussing about an important program in the department of the field of media. We'll be talking about the 3-year undergraduate program of journalism and mass comm offered by Bennett University. And what better way to get a feedback about the university and especially about the program that we'll be discussing today than to ask it from the students who are pursuing that particular course at the university. And for that particular purpose, I've got 2 brilliant students from the School of Media with me. Firstly, I've got Amisha Piplani, who is a student from the School of Media from the batch of 2020 and 2023. She is from Delhi. And secondly, I have got her classmate, Shaurya Tomar, who is also a student of the School of Media from the Department of Journalism and Mass Comm, and actually he is also representing the batch of 2020 and will be passing out in 2023, and Shaurya is from Noida. So welcome Shaurya and Amisha to this Student Diaries session where we'll be having interactions with you. We'll be getting our feedback about the university and also about the program. Before we pass on the podium or maybe the microphones to you, I will just inform the audience who are watching us live today at YouTube or would be watching the recorded version. The entire program would be of 35 minutes or 40 minutes. And we have got huge amount of questions from students and also from parents who are wanting to pursue this course of journalism and mass communication at Bennett University. And we have segregated the most relevant ones, which we're going to ask, or maybe I'm going to place in front of you, Shaurya and Amisha. And while you are answering these questions, this will act as a feedback given to the students and the parents about how wonderfully Bennett University is, performing within this program of journalism and mass comm. So without wasting any time, we'd start with the lady that we have today. Amisha, with you. My question to you would be, you have joined, in fact, you've passed out class 12 in 2020. And that was a period again when we were going through a very tough time because COVID was hitting us badly. So why, my question to you is, why after completion of this course of class 12, or maybe while you are in class 12, you've decided to choose, journalism and mass comm as a career? And the second question to top it up would be, once you've decided that you would be taking up this course in media or journalism and mass comm, why did you choose Bennett University? So over to you, Amisha, for the couple of questions, as we welcome the first question to you.
Thank you for inviting us. So I have always been inquisitive. I've always been thinking about, I have had a new dream every few months. Once I wanted to be a mechanical engineer, the other a vigilante. So it has never been a stop to my life. So I was always confused as to what I wanted to choose. So when I was in 12th and I had to choose a course, I was very puzzled. But I realized that the one thing that remained constant throughout all of this was my love for writing. Every time I had a new dream, I started writing about it. Every time I had a new dream, I communicated about it to my friends and my family. So communication, writing, it was just easy. It was just my thing. And that is when I realized that journalism and mass communication can be a field for me. And the reason why I chose Bennett is actually really, it's a nice story. So I got into my dream university. I was really happy. But my parents, they got an email from Bennett. So they were like, you try attending the webinar once to see it. And I was reluctant at first, but then I joined the webinar and I understood the importance that the Times Group brings into this course. So I realized that if I want to go ahead with this course, the Times Group factor would really help me in my education. So that is why I ended up going with Bennett, and I don't regret it at all.
Okay, so obviously the fact that you don't regret being a second year student right now, you'll be going to your third year very soon. In fact, you are on the verge of being promoted with the third year, I guess. So wonderfully mentioned, you actually wanted to explore a lot of options. Then you finally decided that you have a love for writing and communications. That's when you thought that you would be joining, in fact, doing this course of journalism. And obviously, without a doubt, obviously, there is no other university when it comes to this particular course than the Times Group. Bennett University will provide you a wonderful career ahead. Okay, so now that we have understood and got a feedback from the lady that we have, the lady guest, a student that we have, we'll be passing over to the gentleman that we have in the form of Shaurya Tomar. So Shaurya, the same question will come to you also. Why did you choose to go or take up a career into journalism or media or mass comm? And ultimately, when you've decided, why did you choose Bennett University?
Okay, sir, thank you so much for having us. So firstly, I would like to say when I was in 10th or 11th, I had a general idea that I wanted to go into the media industry because I was never an academic student. I was never good at maths or science. So I knew I wanted to do something in the creative field. So when my 12th class ended, I started exploring a lot of options. Like I never had one college in mind. So I explored every college, many private universities, many government universities. And I even attended the orientations of a few other universities. But when Bennett was one of these options, and it was actually one of the last options that I considered at that time. But when I attended the orientations of the other universities and then Bennett, I clearly saw something different in Bennett, which clicked with me. It matched my personality, the environment that I had felt that they were creating. It felt very different from the other universities. Like the other universities were more focused on like a set way of doing things, like teaching you from books or just doing things the old way. But when I attended the Bennett orientation, I saw that they were very modern and they had a very original thinking and a new thinking. Like many universities, I think what they do wrong is they are set in their old ways, and Bennett never does that. Even when we are in our course, we're constantly it's always adapting to what is actually happening in the world. And when I started, like in the first year, I had a general idea that I wanted to go into media, but in just the next, like last 2 years, I've been, like it's really cleared my mind, and now I've decided that I wanted to go into filmmaking. So Bennett has been a huge part of like making me sure of what I want to do, and it's like paved the way for me.
All right, right. Thank you. Just before we go ahead and move to the second question, this is for both of you, Amisha and Shaurya. You know, when Shaurya is speaking, I think Amisha, is speaking through your microphone, but unfortunately, the spotlight is coming to you, and that's why the audience is only able to, see Amisha because he is speaking from your microphone. So you would need to mute, and Shaurya, you need to speak from your microphone so that we can see you. Unfortunately, in the YouTube live, we're only able to see Amisha because the spotlight is going to the person from whose microphone we are speaking. So never mind, we'll come to that again. Yes. So we'll continue with Shaurya. Yes, you can unmute. Yes, we'll continue with you, Shaurya. We'll come to the second question. Now that we have understood why both of you have selected Bennett University, why both of you wanted to go into the field of media studies, though two of you have different versions, but then both are equivalent, and I'm sure all the students who are watching us right now are getting an idea about why and how they should take up this course. Now we'll move towards another important factor. The factor is, the curriculum. So Shaurya, since you are there, I will want to listen from you. Talk us about the curriculum of this particular course, because we know media studies is way beyond journalism because there is a mass comm part attached to it. So you are into your almost third year. So let us know what should the students expect from this course.
Okay, sir. So we have a very dynamic curriculum, as I would describe it, because we have, it's like you said, it's journalism and mass comms. So it's not just one thing that we're learning every semester. We have 6 semesters, so each semester is focusing on something different. Each semester we have at least 4 or 5 subjects, and there are a few core subjects which are the main part of the semester, and then there are a few subjects which go around every semester. So if I talk about the first 3 semesters, the first semester we had, it was focused on print journalism. So it was basically introducing us to the basics of journalism, the basics of mass comm. So in that we learned how to write a newspaper, how news is selected by journalists, how journalists go outside and interview people, how they keep up with the current affairs. And the best thing about that was we have a subject called news analysis, and which runs through all of the semester. It's the only constant subject, and that will help you the most in keeping up with the current affairs. Like I personally, I wasn't very aware of the current affairs. I had the general news ideas, but I wasn't deep into what was going on in the politics and even in other news. But that subject, because it's all about the news and it's all about what's actually going on in the world, it keeps you very aware of what's going on right now. So even the people who didn't have a habit of reading the newspaper or didn't even care about that, they are like completely hyper aware of what's going on in the news. So that was the first semester. Then the second semester, it was focused on TV and radio. Obviously, that's very different from print. So that in that semester, we learned how to write a radio show, how to write a TV show. And that was obviously online, but still the curriculum was there. The professors really helped us to understand what goes on. So we were given projects at our home that we could do with our phones because technology is really advanced now. So that was the main focus of the second semester, TV and radio. Then the third semester, it was focused on social media. Like that's what I meant by when I said that Bennett is really with the times, because you won't see social media as a subject in many universities. So we were taught how to market ourselves on social media, how to market a brand on social media. Then like we had very fun assignments, you would say. Like if someone would have told me I had to make a YouTube video or an Instagram reel for my assignment, I would be like, that's a dream. So that was very fun. Though these were the third, this is the basic idea of the first 3 semesters. Then Amisha can explain the next thing.
Yes, Amisha, if you want to add something, because I'm sure Shaurya has actually mentioned all the basic details, but then we would want to hear from you too.
Definitely. So fourth semester started off when we came offline. So that was a blessing to us. We are the batch who started online. So when fourth semester started off, we had projects from the fourth semester was based on filmmaking. So it was an amazing semester where we learned the basics of filmmaking, how to we act. All of us made short movies actually, and the whole process of just starting from the script, from the idea to post production, everything was there. So we were on our toes, we were making that, and you could find us everywhere in the campus, outside the campus, doing all of those activities. Fifth semester, which we will be pursuing right now, is my favorite actually. It is more towards the advertising, the brand management, the digital marketing side. So obviously we have been focusing a lot on journalism in the first 3 semesters with a little bit of advertising, PR, and events. Now we delve further into the brand management aspect, the digital marketing aspect. So fifth semester will be totally based on that. And in the sixth semester, we can choose our own specialization, which I think really helps us choose what we really want to do. For example, we have been through every teaching or every field within those 5 semesters. Now we can choose that this was a field that I really liked, and this is the one that is what is the one for me. So yeah, that is how it is.
Right. Wonderfully explained by both the students right now. In fact, Shaurya began with saying that, this particular course is way beyond what the students take. It's not only about journalism, it's also about mass comm. So they've started with print journalism. Shaurya spoke about social media. Then Amisha spoke about filmmaking. Then we move ahead towards, the most important part, marketing, digital marketing, branding, advertisements. So this course is perhaps one course wherein you get a multi-dimensional aspect into every field of media. As rightly mentioned, by the students, this is one course which will keep you updated. This is one course which keeps you on the toes, you keep on moving. And perhaps this is one course which is absolutely passion driven, because this is something where, where the students love, where the student wants to interact with different kinds of people, different segment, different strata. And that's how it makes a complete course altogether. And that's how, this course absolutely is going to be one of the top-notch courses, especially when it's provided by a company which has a background of more than 180 years in the field of media in the form of the Bennett Coleman Group or Times Group. Wonderfully explained about the curriculum. I'm sure all the students and the parents who are watching now have a fair idea of what they can expect from this course of journalism and mass comm, especially here at Bennett University. Now, my third or maybe the fourth question would be keeping in terms with what Amisha has just now told. So it will be to you, Amisha, and then we'll come to Shaurya also. As we know that this is one course where, the practicality or the practical part is more than the theoretical part. And everything what you are learning in the classroom is important, but what you do outside the classroom when it comes to projects, summer internships, or activities that you have just now mentioned is even more important when it comes to the particular course. So we'll talk about internships right now. So Amisha, if you can just throw some light on the internships that are provided within this course, how many of them are offered to you, what is the duration kind of, and what is the importance of internships that the students are being carried out, and what have you done as a student while you're doing your internships too? Over to you, Amisha, when we talk about internships.
Yes, sir. So right after the end of our second year, the fourth semester, we have an internship which is fully guided to us by our professors. So the internship that we are provided with is what we are interested in. So if we tell them that we are interested in advertising, we get offers from the company, from advertising agencies. So if you're interested in radio, we get offers from radio companies. Our CVs are given to like a lot of companies, as we are in the university which has a Times background. So we also get an advantage in the Times internships as well. So I was really interested in advertising, and I think this is the field that I would go forward with. So I got to know about the internships that the university were offering, and I got selected at this ad agency called Atomica. And I think I've been learning advertising theoretically, and it was amazing. But the moment I went and worked in the agency itself, I think that completely changed how I viewed advertising, because up till now we have been doing projects, we have been doing hypothetical projects with hypothetical brands. But when I was there working with brands like Call of Duty Mobile, I think that is when I realized that this is so much more than just what we have been studying. And that is why internships are very important. And I'm really glad that the university offers us a platform to do this. So I had the opportunity to do client response management, to copyright for a lot of brands, to strategize for a lot of events. So that all of that, I think what we have learned that came into the picture while I was doing the practical work. So I think the internships are a really big factor.
Right. So, Shaurya, your idea or maybe your feedback about the internships being provided now that we've understood it from Amisha and what she has done. In fact, her experience grew manifold while she had actually started doing her internship, and while she came back very matured and she had a proper understanding of what she would be doing in the industry. So, over to you, Shaurya, about your feedback about internships and how or what you've done in your internship.
Yes, I definitely agree with Amisha. So I interned at Radio Mirchi. You might, all of you might have heard of it. It's India's biggest radio station. So that was, I think, I would actually say it was a life-changing experience for me. I interned there for 6 weeks, and I would say I have gotten more exposure there than I had my entire life. And the good thing about Bennett is that the internships are built into our course. So it's like you said, this course is more practical than it is theoretical. So Bennett pushes us to do as much field work as possible. So through Bennett, I got into Radio Mirchi, and then I learned so many things there. I actually got to go on the live on radio. I learned how radio shows are produced. I helped the RJs in making like videos for their social medias. I helped RJs in producing ads for radio. Then the fun part of it, you get to meet celebrities when you go to a radio station. So that was great. But from a career standpoint, it really gave me a first-hand exposure on what it is like to go into the entertainment industry, because that's what I personally want to go into. I want to go into filmmaking and media production, that all. So that was a great experience for me, and I don't think I would have gotten the same opportunity if I was at any other university, because as you said, Times Group is for the Bennett, is affiliated with Bennett. So if you're at Bennett, you get there are a lot more chances that you'll get a job or an internship at Times if you were in another university.
Right. Wonderfully explained how Shaurya had done his internship from Radio Mirchi, the #1 radio station in India, which is in fact, if the audience is not aware, is a part of the Times Group. And again, I would like to mention, when you talk about media, you know Radio Mirchi. When you talk about, obviously, you know the Times of India group. When you talk about the print media, if you know about the news channels, you know Times Now, it is a part of the Times group. If you know about the OTT platform, Zoom is one platform which is from the Times of India group. So that is what the students are, implying to say, that if you're a part of Bennett University, you have the backing of entire media industry via the Times Group or the Bennett Coleman Group. I've just mentioned only 4 brands. There is Magic Breaks, there is Crick Bars and others, who is also from the Times Group. And the students are getting constant updates, opportunities of internship, and rightly mentioned by Shaurya, opportunities of jobs too, if you're doing it well, which you would never be getting from any other university. We've also not spoken about Jungly Pictures, which is again a production unit from Times Group. As Shaurya mentioned, he wanted to be a part of the entertainment industry. So that gives a special backing when you have such bigger groups backing you and helping you for internship and placements. And also, we'll talk about the projects and the kind of labs that you are being exposed to, or maybe the studios. So right now we'll move ahead and we'll talk about another important fact. When we talk about a course of journalism and mass communication, we've told that it is backed by the Times Group. How important is it, when you are exposed to various sessions being taken by, such celebrities or, people coming from the industry? We'll be talking about guest lectures right now. So talk to us about the importance of guest lectures, how you're exposed to situations and you get information and idea about whatever is happening in the industry through these guest lectures that are being conducted at Bennett. So over to you, Shaurya, if you can just help us, and how many guest lectures have happened, what all have happened in the guest lectures, and how you have gained experience through those.
So guest lectures are a big part of our course, because when our semester briefing starts, we already get to know when our guest lectures are happening. So it's not like it's a one-time or once in a blue moon thing. It's built into our course. So we get many guest lectures from people in the filmmaking industry, journalists who have worked in the industry for over 20 years. So personally, my favorite guest lecture in the last semester was an actual drama professor from NSD came to visit our college, and he did many acting exercises with us, and he taught not just about acting, but he taught us how to make our way into the industry and talked about the business side of things. So whenever we have a guest lecture, it's not just like pigeonholed it into one thing. The Bennett calls people who are like all rounders. So it's not like a filmmaking person will only talk to you about filmmaking. They'll teach you how to build a career in the whole industry. So guest lectures are not only important for building your career, they also help us in like building your personality, because in this industry, I think your personality is also a big part of your job. So I think that has helped us a lot with the guest lectures.
Right. Wonderfully explained about guest lectures, because that's what one important thing it brings into part. I know what Shaurya has mentioned about personality. You know, that is very important when you join the media industry, because personality plays an important role, because, you know, every other day you might be visible in front of a huge number of audience in a TV, or maybe you are audible in front of a huge number of audience if you're working in your radio segment. So yes, exactly that's very important. And when you interact with people, you grow your network, and that's what guest lectures would actually help you to at the end of the day. Now we'll move forward for another important factor, and we'll come to Amisha with this first, and then to Shaurya. People wants to know about faculties, because that is very, very important. Now, Amisha, you started just saying that when you've joined, you actually started your classes online, which was very difficult at the beginning, because we never had this opportunity of doing full-fledged classes online. You were perhaps the first batch who were doing that. And then all of a sudden, after 3 semesters, you migrated to offline. So that is where, this online and offline in transition plays a very important role. And we would want to know what is the role of the faculty members, how they have helped you while you are online, doing the classes online. Well, right now you're doing your classes offline, if you're facing any particular problem, and we want to know how the faculties are playing an important role in this particular field of journalism and mass comm. So we'll start with you, Amisha. Over to you with the faculty feedback.
Okay, so whenever someone asks me about Bennett and they ask me about my experience, I think one of the main things that I talk about is the faculty. The faculty comes with a very professional background, with a professional background of being in the industry. So the experience that they bring in while they teach us, it is more than anything any media student could ask for. So we, as you mentioned, we started it online. So I was very skeptical. How will things work? We most of our, like 60% of the course is practical. So how will things work out in the online area? But I would say that the teachers, they literally did a wonderful job in making us feel like we were still connected to them. I would shout out to a professor. His name is Bhavneet sir. So to make our classes more interactive, to make our classes feel like we are in the classroom itself and not online, he used to have fun contests, and we can put on backgrounds on our videos. So he used to have like themes for every day. So when your professors are working this hard to make you feel like you're home, you feel like you're home. You feel like this is the course that I wanted to pursue. And if the professors are working this hard to teach you, to be there for you every day, I think that really makes it worth it. Another thing that I want to talk about is that, the softwares that were available for us to work on. For example, we had to work on page making. For example, when you make a newspaper, there are softwares that you use. So they were available on the computers in the campus, but they had to make them available in our laptops as well. So everything was made sure that everything was streamlined and everything was perfect, even when we were online. So it was a great experience online, and I think not a lot of students can tell us that their college life was good online as well. So when I shifted to offline, I think the experience became better and better, because now I have more opportunities to talk to teachers, more opportunities to learn from them. And I actually am working on a research paper with a professor as well. So if you have a good communication, if you have good communication with your teachers, and if they find out that you are hardworking, and if they find out that you are skilled enough, maybe they'll ask you for these opportunities as well.
Excellently explained, Amisha. The way you've been enjoying your life while you were doing your classes online too. The softwares which were normally available and which are normally available at the studios or maybe at the labs, were offered to you in the online mode too, and then while you migrated offline, life became even better. So we would want to hear from Shaurya to your personal experience about the faculties and maybe your feedback, any particular instance which you would want to show it in front of the audience about how faculty has gone ahead and given you an extra help in this particular course.
Yes, sir. So I completely agree with Amisha again. The faculty is absolutely the best because I think each of the faculty, they never uh, treat every child the same. Like our course is also built like that, and the faculty also always recognizes that every child is different, every student is different, and everyone will have different ways of learning and different ways of understanding things. So they never treat everyone as the same. I would like to give an example of Ramesh sir. He has taught us in our previous years, and he always told us that never focus on the marks, always focus on learning. And I think that's stayed with me always, because I think each professor of ours goes with that and philosophy, because we always focus on learning the things rather than acing our exams. And I've never had a problem with my marks here, because I'm not even focusing on that. When I'm always just focusing on learning the things, doing my work, and the marks just follow automatically. So I think that's the best part, that you're getting good marks even without thinking about it.
Excellently explained, again by Shaurya, that these things, these little things matters in life. When you get a lesson which are being given by a faculty member, and that lesson turns out to be a life lesson, nothing better works for anybody, whether you're a student or whether you are a person who is making a good name in your career too. So that is how the students have given a feedback about the faculty members, whether they were online sessions or whether they were offline sessions. Whenever they found problems, whether it's important to make a class interesting, the faculty is always stood by the students and made it happen. One important thing is, faculties here at Bennett University knows that each student is coming from a different background, has got a different strength, has got different weakness, and they treat the student likewise. Everybody is not treated in the same way, even though they are having the same sessions, they're having the same syllabi, but then every student is different, every student has got a different talent, and that's what the team of faculty members tries to bring it out when especially compared to this class of journalism and mass comm. One final question into the field of academics, when we go beyond academics after that, is very importantly, Amisha has spoken about, softwares, because we know when you work into this particular school of media, when you would walk into the field of media too afterwards, you would have to deal with softwares. It is not that you have to be an IT person in order to work with softwares, but then you have to be equipped with softwares, and you have to know softwares when you are into the field of media too. So this question would be to you, Shaurya, first, and they'll move to Amisha, is about the infrastructure that Bennett University provides. We've been talking aloud that yes, it is from the Times Group, it has got the backing from Mirchi, or maybe from the Times of India, or maybe the other, the Times Now, etc. Talk us about the studios, the experience that you've received, the kind of help you've received in the studios, and also talk us about the various softwares you're working on while you're doing this particular program, though Amisha has touched upon one of them. Over to you, Shaurya, about the infrastructure provided within the course.
Yes, sir. So we have amazing studios here. We have our own TV studio, and we have our own radio studio. So the TV studio is just like you would expect in an actual news channel. We have big projectors, we have big cameras, we have a whole teleprompter, and we have a whole PCR, a production control room. So it's part of our course. Last semester, we had a project where 5 people were grouped into one group, and we had to make our own news show in Bennett University. So there was a host, there was a cameraman, there was a script writer, there was a director, there was a producer. So we learned everything about how to make actual production control. It was called the PCR. So we learned how to work in a production control room. And it actually felt like we were working in an actual news channel. We got to interview people live. We learned how to work fast, and because the first thing we're told when we go into journalism is it's all about time and being as on deadlines. So that makes these kinds of projects make you very aware of that, and they make the hard things easy, because you're always working on things that are fast paced and very interesting. And if I talk about softwares, we were in our first semester, we learned how to use Affinity, which is like a software used to make newspapers. So we had our own newspaper called Times of Bennett, which is a replica of Times of India. So every student had to write stories for that. They had to make their own pages. So we learned every little detail, from how long a headline should be to what the font size should be, what the story should be, how many words to use, how many characters to use. So everything was done very meticulously and diligently.
Right. So Amisha, I will want a little feedback from you when it comes to the, the studios that are being offered at the university and also the softwares. Though you're the one who started saying about the softwares. So we'll end with you while we're talking about the softwares and the studio too.
Like Shaurya mentioned, the TV studio is something that is literally the replica of how actual TV studios are. So being in that room, you just feel like you're part of the TV, like you're part of an actual TV media agency. So we have that. We also have a radio studio as well, which is the same as how it is in radios. And as we talk about softwares, I think, as he mentioned, we worked on Affinity Publisher. We learned how to upload articles on the software called Denmark. We also learned how to make infographics on Canva. We also learned how to do video editing, and we also learned how to do photo editing. Everything has had a software that we were taught, and we were taught as if we didn't know the basics of it. So it started from the very beginning till we were sure enough that we could finish a project on that software. So every software that is being taught, it is being taught with the mindset of us having to having to use those softwares in our professional life further.
Right. So this is brilliant. I think the way you have explained, both of you, about the studios for the Times of India helps you in print journalism. The Times Now helps in television curriculum. Radio Mirchi helps into the radio curriculum. The Times Internet Limited, which just spoke about, helps you in the digital journalism and mobile journalism curriculum, and also helps you. Media Wire helps you in public relations curriculum. Jungly Pictures, we've spoken about, helps in the film studies curriculum. And we've already spoken about the various labs that are being present, including the iMac and Windows labs, the mobile media labs we were talking about. And obviously our students have spoken about the softwares that are on offer. All in all, together, this makes a beautiful package. Shaurya was mentioning about the newspaper that's being circulated in the university itself, which is the replica of the Times of India, which is being done, and which from end to end it is being done by the students themselves. So this actually helps the student to understand and get into the framework of what they'll be doing in the future, which is excellent. And we've already discussed about the curriculum. We spoke about the internship, we spoke about guest lectures, we spoke about the faculty feedback, and right now we also discussed about the softwares and also the infrastructure. So we'll move ahead beyond this right now. So we'll move a little bit into the non-academic part. So I believe, Amisha is from Delhi. Shaurya, you are actually from Noida. Both of you are hostelers. So we will speak about the hostel part right now. So Shaurya, we'll start with you. We want to know the hostel facilities that have been provided at the university level. So we'd want you to tell us about the bare minimum facilities, about the mess services, and the hygiene factors too. And then when it comes to safety and security, we'll come to you, Amisha. So first with Shaurya, about the bare minimum hostel facilities that are provided and how you are enjoying your hostel life, along with the sports complex too.
So the hostel facilities are very comfortable and very nice. So when I was first coming to the hostel, my biggest concern was the food. Everyone tells you that when you go to the hostel, you miss your home food, you miss food. So that is not a problem here at all, because first of all, we have a very good mess where we get 4 meals a day. We get breakfast, we get lunch, we get evening snacks, and we get dinner. But that's not all. We have about 4 other food joints on the campus. There's the Kathi Junction, there's the Chai Point, there's Quench, the juice bar, and then there's the tuck shop. So there are endless amount of options. So you don't feel like you're in a hostel. You just feel like you're in a hostel, but it's not the image of hostel that is fed into our minds since our childhood. There's a lot of food options here. and that's a very good thing. Then there are great hostels. It's twin sharing, and we have 24/7 centralized AC, and we have 24/7 hot water. Then we have water tanks everywhere. You can fill your water up from there. Then even, and we also have an option of ordering food from outside. Even though Bennett is in a relatively remote area, Zomato and Swiggy options are there, but most of the students don't opt for that because the food on campus is actually very good. Then if we come to the sports complex is one of the most one of the best parts of the university, I would say, because we have top of the line basketball courts, we have 2 gyms, we have a tennis court, we have a squash court, we have a swimming pool which is maintained year round. When I came to the college the first time after COVID, I was shocked to see that the swimming pool was still completely maintained. It didn't feel like it had been, no one had been there for 2 years. So the sports complex is there. Earlier we used to have one gym, but the gym was so popular that now the university has built another gym, so everyone gets a chance to use the gym facilities. And every evening you'll find the sports complex completely full. Everyone's playing there, everyone. So it really, the campus is very good for the students because you're always active. You never want to just sit in your room and do nothing. There's always something to do. There are always some events happening.
Right, wonderful. So now that we know about the facilities being provided in the hostel, about the mess service and also sports complex, another important factor, especially is the safety and security. And what better way than the lady herself explaining about the safety and security in the hostel
yes,
and within the
so
campus. So yes, over to you, Amisha. I think we're having problems with the network with Amisha. So Shaurya, while Amisha comes back, we'll try with you. You can also speak about the safety and security part, being the CCTV, the marshals, and also the wardens, and just help us in understanding how it is.
Yes, sir. So like I said, the hostel is in a relatively remote area, so the safety is a big part of our campus. There are security guards everywhere who are trained to make sure that the students are safe. Then we have an outpass system which is very smooth and also very it makes sure that the parents are aware that where the students are. So every time you want to go out, even if it's just for an hour or even if it's for 10 days, you put in your app an outpass request, then it's approved by your parents, then it's approved by the warden, then it's approved by the security guard, and then you get to go out. So it sounds like a big process, but if you have the app, which is a great app, you can just put it in there and your parents will be aware every time where you are, and the warden will also be aware where you are. And then there are security guards everywhere. It's a completely gated community, so you are never concerned about your safety. Everyone can roam around in the campus even at night. So it's safety is very well handled at Bennett University.
So that is more like it, because this is something, again, all the parents would want to hear. Apart from the facilities, what is the safety and hygiene factors that are being considered at the university? Good to have you back, Amisha, again. So we'll start with you, Amisha, when we'll talk about the clubs. Again, at Bennett University, we know that we believe in the fact that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy or Jill a dull girl. So we have various clubs where you can carry out your passion. And if you have a hobby, if you want to do something apart from academics, the clubs actually helps. So Amisha, help us in understanding the importance of clubs. If you are one of the members of any clubs, explain us what you're doing there, and so that the students will also get a feedback about what they're going to get beyond academics at university.
For sure. So any activity, any hobby that you think of, we have a club for it. And I think that's what makes Bennett University the university that it is. So we have a reading club, we have a music club, we have a dance club, we have a classical music club, we have a cooking club, we have everything there. So whatever you're interested in, it is probably available here. So I'm the editorial head of the club called Panache. It is a fashion club. So we have a lot of events ranging from having fashion shows, or we are making a magazine for the club as well. So when you have clubs like this, you never feel like you're like Shaurya mentioned, you never feel like sitting in your room and just watching a movie by yourself, because there is also a club for watching movies with your friends. And I think just like this is a part of a community. You never feel like you're not home, because Bennett University has become a home for me now. It has everything that I ever wished to have.
Great. So, and again, that's wonderful. So we are having feedbacks about the clubs, the students who are having any passion. So they can actually follow their passion. There are various activities being carried in fact, out in the university for the students, by the students, and with the students. So that is something which is very, very important when you join a university like Bennett, which is always not academics. The academics plays an important role. It is also about safety. It is also about hygiene, and it is also about student activities. Whether it's a club, whether it's the the sports complex which Shaurya was talking about, it is very, very important that you have a life out of academics too, as Amisha rightly mentioned that she is barely missing home right now, because Bennett is giving her all facilities that would make her comfortable at the university level, whether it's academics or whether it's non-academics. One final question to both of you, and this will come to both of you. In fact, I'll start with Shaurya first. This particular course of journalism and mass comm, this actually prepares you within the undergraduate course itself. But then there are opportunities of higher studies, I'm sure, if a student is looking to go for. So we would want to know about two things, about the opportunities of placements that are available within this course, because, as we spoke about the course being very dynamic, as we spoke about the fact that this course actually updates you, keeps you on the toes. You would have to, be updated always and be ready to move. But talk us about the opportunities of placements, because there are various avenues within this particular program that are offering jobs and opportunities that are coming. We also know there are big brands looking for students who are working in this particular field, whether it's advertisement, media, social media, whether it's the journalism part or the mass comm part. So talk us about the higher studies and placement. We'll start with you, Shaurya, first, and then we'll go to Amisha.
Yes, sir. So the placement opportunities here are also great. We get to experience that firsthand because we still are starting with our third year. But we've talked to our seniors. We've seen our seniors. Most of them have gotten placements at very, very good universities. Companies. And I'll give an example of a group of people. So we have advertising as a subject. So one of our projects is creating ad campaigns for many different companies. So we're given a particular company, and your group has to make an ad campaign for their product or some service they're providing. So one of our seniors batch last year, they made a ad campaign for a company called Be Safe. And their campaign was so good that 5 people from that group actually got a placement in that company, and they are still working there. So just because they did a great job in an assignment at their course, they are working at a great company now. And sometimes people also get, so we have internships in our second year. And if you do a great job at your internship, some people also get a PPO, which is called a pre-placement offer. So the company gives you an offer at your second year. You can complete your third year and then go to work for that company. And that only happens when you get exposure to a lot of things and exposure to actually working in the field. So I think Bennett prepares you for that, and then they give opportunities for that, so you can seize the opportunity and get the placement.
Thank you so much, Shaurya. Over to you, Amisha. When we speak about placements, though, Shaurya has touched upon a few factors. So talk us about the placement, and also we would want to know opportunities of higher studies after this course of journalism, in case if a student wants to go for, is there any?
As Shaurya rightfully mentioned, we have our course structured in such a way that we have by the end of the whole course, we have the intelligence, we have the experience we need to go work at a good company. Doesn't matter which field that you want to go into within all the fields that are offered. A lot of good companies, like as we mentioned, Times Group, all the subsidiaries of it, they come to pick students who are excelling in their own fields. So ad agencies, PR agencies, newspaper agencies, TV media groups, all of them, they all come to the university for placement offers. And we have, as Shaurya said, we are yet to have experienced that by ourselves, but I've seen my seniors get into amazing organizations. As per higher studies, I believe that if you are someone who would like to continue studying, you can go for MJMC, or if you're interested in more in the advertising aspect of it, you can go for a master's in marketing or an MBA actually. So it all depends on how you want to, which field that you want to take up, and how much you want to study. For me, I'm planning on taking WorkX for 2-3 years and then going for my MBA, because I believe that I would want to get into advertising and marketing essentially. So it all depends on how much you want to learn and how much you want to grow. So Bennett offers all of the opportunities that you would want after your course as well.
Thank you so much, Amisha, and thank you, Shaurya. In fact, we have right now discussed, almost 10 questions which were relevant, which are in fact relevant to this particular, program of journalism and mass comm when it comes to the School of Media. So we've talked about every detail when it comes to academics. We spoke about the campus facilities and hostel facilities, and lastly, we also spoke about the placements and higher studies. So I think with that, we'll want to end this particular session, the student diaries for the course of journalism and mass comm from the School of Media. I would like to thank all the audience who have been patiently listening to the wonderful students' feedback given by Amisha and Shaurya about the university and also about the program or the course journalism and mass comm. People would be watching us in the recorded version and the YouTube. Again, you would have also got the idea about the particular course of journalism and mass comm, and especially what the Times Group or Bennett University is offering you. Thank you once again to all of you, especially to the wonderful students who've joined me today as panelists, Shaurya and Amisha. Until we meet again for the next, group of students, with the next group of students for the next, program that Bennett is offering, maybe coming Friday or Wednesday. Take care. Have a very nice evening, and rest assured, be, welcome to the university. You can visit the university at any point of time. The university is right now open. And I would like to mention to all the parents and the students, this particular course of journalism and mass comm is offered in English as well as in Hindi. So if you are interested in pursuing this course in Hindi, you can visit our website, get the details about this particular program. And also the admissions are on full swing. In fact, the classes would be announced very soon. The classes are about to begin for the fresh batch in September. So if you are one of the students who are still willing to get yourself on at the university for this particular program of journalism and mass comm, don't wait for anything. Just upload your details. Application forms are available at the website, and you can obviously pay the fee and get enrolled. And also there are scholarships available for meritorious students. So if you are good enough, if you've done well in class 12, there are a handful amount of scholarships offered to every student who've done well in their class 12 too. Thank you once again to everybody. Until we meet again, please take care and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.